Langley, Virginia. Dominic Michael Monaghan was named after St. Dominic. His mother told him, not far into elementary school, after being nicknamed Domino, he requested that his parents shorten his name to Nick. That's too Greek sounding. Why not take your middle name Michael, his mother suggested. And so he did. It was a pivot late enough to allow close relatives to still refer to him as Dominic. When friends of Michael came to the house, they would wonder who Dominic was. It would be Michael through his brother Rice years and solidify into Mike Monaghan by the time he reached West Point. Patrick looked at the photo of his son on his desk, taken at graduation. White hat in hand, light blue uniform, white diagonal cross belt with shining brass buttons. His mother was so proud of her handsome son that day. She had framed the photo for Pat for Father's Day. The counsellor had told him that many marriages could not take the hits from a storm of loss, and the Monaghan hull had broken apart after the boy's death. Good-looking boy, said Gasperson as he shoved the donut into his mouth. How did he die? Suicide bomber grabbed him from behind in Kabul. I'm sorry, man. He died for a good cause. Thanks. It was all that Pat Monaghan could say. He was getting tired of the comments that came after he announced that his son died. He died for his country. He died for a great cause. He died for our freedoms. What exactly did that mean? Did Dominic Michael Monaghan live a short life, serve his country and die so that Gasperson could have the freedom to shove another donut in his face? Or did his son die in protection of a young shoot, freshly out of the ground, that would grow into something new and great, something the world would mimic, take shelter under, or be taken over by? These were questions Pat was still asked 3 years into his grieving, but never out loud. Well, at least it was quick, said Gasperson. I'm sorry? His death, at least it was quick. Monaghan paused and looked up at Gasperson. It wasn't quick, Ed. What do you mean? He was wearing a vest and a helmet when it happened. His legs and arms were blown off, as was the back of his head. But I talked to his friend who said he was a gasping torso when he died. He died less than a minute after the explosion, but it might have been an eternity to his mother and I. Sorry, Ed, I gotta go. Sorry, man. It's okay, Ed. Gasperson stood at Monaghan's desk, chewing his donut, staring at the handsome young West Point graduate in the framed picture. I think this is the first introduction of a new character who will play a role. This is a Langley connection, CIA connection, and then in the next part I'll read, you will see the connection, how it all connects in. Or you won't, or whatever, I don't know. Anyway, I love that last name. I only know one person with that last name, and I used the last name. The guy in the book has nothing to do with the person I know with that last name. The person I know with that last name is one of the best guys you'd ever meet. So, there you go. Southwestern Avenue. Midway was always his first choice of Chicago airports. O'Hare, or O'Hell as he liked to call it, had more options but was too busy and too far. Southwest flight would get Monaghan in close to 7:30 and he'd figure he'd get to Cork and Kerry on Western Avenue by 8:30 or so. He hoped they would have some kind of food since he went straight to Reagan Airport from work. Secret agent man is here, boys, said Pat Rourke as Pat Monaghan walked in. What's going on, guys? What's going on with you, big CIA man? Keep it down, Tony, for God's sake. I don't want the whole bar knowing. Sorry, dude. In for the weekend? Yeah, I'll head back Sunday. What brings you in? Would you tear up if I said you guys? Really? Maybe. For real? Yeah. You came all the way from D.C. to hang out with us? Yeah, I'll have breakfast at Ashford House tomorrow and shuffle around town in the afternoon, but I'm man enough to admit that this was the main reason. Perhaps I'll join you for some black pudding tomorrow. Is that how you mix, say, pudding? Close enough, Tony. We can go straight there from the bake, said Pat Rourke. I'm too old for that shit, man. I'll ruin the entire day tomorrow if I do. Hey, they serve Irish breakfast all day, said Tony. How does a wop know so much about Irish breakfast? Hey, I'm up on my Irish sausage, man. That's what your wife told me last night, said Rourke. Yeah, you wish, pal. Will you see Claire while you're here, Pat? There was an awkward pause. I don't see a reason. I think she wants. I don't think she wants to see me. You guys seen her around much? No. She dating anyone? Don't know, Pat. Dude, call her while you're here. Just say you're around. Yeah, perhaps I will. What's up with the gov? Sorry, they all sound the same. This is a standard American accent I'm doing for all of them. I'll change. I'll make Tony Italian. That's what I'll do. Italian, New York Italian. So you can be able to differentiate at least one of them. What's up with the gov? Same old shit, perpetually trying to stop another 9/11 full-time job. Anything you can tell us? You're not even supposed to know what I do. You're supposed to think I'm a government accountant just because I fucking drank too much that night. You idiots know. Bro, we ain't telling us. Here we go. Bro, we ain't telling a soul, said Tony. But if you have some good stories, well, you guys are doing something right because we're not getting hit like Europe. Those poor fuckers in France have many 9/11s all over the place. Yeah, that's part of the reason we've kept the peace. A lot of ears on the ground overseas, working with other governments. Those towelheads planning on more shit there? Come on, Tony. Get with the woke. Rourke, this is no fucking PC zone. So they planning any shit over there? They're always planning shit. It's a matter of intercepting the plans. Those fuckers never give up. They won't until we're all in the flames here and in the next life. Come on, Tony. There's evil in all people and good in them, said Rourke. Dude, don't give me that shit. All religions have good and bad and bullshit. Some just have more bad elements. Listen, man, my grandpa left Sicily. We fucking know the story, Tony. Rourke, don't interrupt. I got a point to make. He left because that fat fuck with the steel ball in his head. Rourke mouthed Tony's exact words. These guys are no different. Europe first, then they're coming for us. But looks like Europe's got some vigilantes out there. Out there. There. Is that what he said? And I bet to take the fight to them. Yeah, I heard about that. What's up with that, Pat? Nobody knows. They're not connected to us or any European government that we know of. They're connected to someone because how could a person know in advance when a terrorist is about to strike unless they have some intel, said Tony. They certainly seem to have intel and some amazing training from the surveillance footage we're seeing. They get away every time, too. I don't know how they get caught. Fuckers are fast. Isn't Europe covered with cameras? Yeah, pretty much, especially in London. And you guys can't get matches on who they are? No. And the Brits and French have shared photos with us. Clear photos at times, and we've no idea who they are. We caught a nice one this week, though. Or should I say the French caught him. They were able to connect him to the Paris attackers, and they couldn't get enough on him to hold him. So they called us. We dug a bit deeper in him and found some shit. Or made up some shit, laughed Rourke. We had a few local agents squeeze him a bit. Sounds like he wasn't the innocent boy the French thought he was. Well, let's hope these vigilante heroes succeed. Ba, said Tony. And I'm telling you guys, just like the Japanese fighters in World War II, these fuckers are nuts. They're fucking 21st century kamikazes with suicide vests. All three of them could tell where the sentence was going. But it happened so fast. Even Tony knew where it was going, but had already said suicide vest by the time he realized what he'd said. Fuck, Tony. Man, shit, Pat, I'm sorry. Tony, don't worry about it. You can't walk on eggshells. Man, I wasn't thinking. It's okay, Tony, said Monahan as he grabbed the back of Tony's head. I love you, man. I love you too, brother. Although known from childhood, Tony knew that Monaghan's wet eyes were not for him, but for little Mikey, as Tony used to call him, when he'd visit the Monaghan's home on Claremont in years past, a past when Pat and Claire Monaghan were happy. Let's change the subject and have a good night, said Rourke. On Saturday morning, Monaghan took an Uber from the hotel to Ashford House. The others had gone onto Brewbaker's and were most likely passed out. After breakfast, he took the Rock Island train for no other reason than for memories. He got off at 103rd Street in Walden and stood outside a large apartment building on 103rd and Walden Parkway. She had rented an apartment there soon after the divorce. He had helped her move, even though he was busy with his own move to Langley. He stood outside the gates, too afraid to ring the buzzer. He was here now. He would not be here this time tomorrow. Now was the time to press the buzzer. Ring the buzzer, asshole. She's the mother of your son. Press the fucking button. He desperately wanted to see her, but couldn't press the button. Would she even be awake? Of course she would. She was in there. Time heals all wounds. It was the voice of Father Marr weeks after Mike's funeral. Does it, Father? Why the fighting? Two wounded people lacking the ability to console each other. The two wounds pressing against each other, making it worse. What if we'd not? What if she? He stood outside and clenched the railings, which could have equally been his prison bars. He looked up into the sky that was beautiful, a sky that seemed oblivious to his pain. There you go. I picked 103rd and Walden Parkway because I used to live in that apartment building. I don't know how interesting that is, but this is a new character being introduced, so we're pulling Chicago in now, the south side of Chicago, and the character is Pat Monaghan, and he's a CIA agent, and we'll learn more about him and how he plays into this Dublin, Paris, London connection as the story starts to get weaved and we start to see characters start to get connected. So it's fun. The process of writing is fun because a lot of times it feels like it's moving itself. It's not obvious. I mean, obviously I'm driving that, but it feels like sometimes it flows so well that this subconscious narrator, I don't know how else to describe it. I remember reading a book about writing and how it feels like it's an external force, that's working with you, something that's working alongside of you to push the story along. So when I'm writing it, sometimes it feels like I'm reading it at the same time and following the journey of it, not knowing, like when this guy got created, he just got created, and there was this, where's he going to fit into the story? Like, will he have a home? And he did. I mean, any character that gets created gets weaved in somehow. It's fun to do. And yeah, all right, that's good for now. See ya.